Hello. How fun is this to be able to spend time together here on the You've Got Nurse series podcast? This is a place to explore practical ways to improve our health, which heightens our life experience. I invite you to join in with an open heart and an open mind to receive our guest today. Oh my goodness, hello. I'm just delighted to introduce you to my first guest today, Stavroula Toska. Stavroula is an award-winning writer, director, producer, and Stavroula and I have been friends for quite a few years, and I consider her a very dear friend. And I'm just delighted that she's here today because I have watched and experienced Stavroula manifesting so many of her goals and dreams over the years that I think that you will just be delighted to hear about her adventures too, right? And I just think it's beautiful. So, Stavroula, I want you to just, you're such an inspiration to everyone that knows you. And so I can't wait to help spread this beautiful energy around. So let's just dive right in.
This is incredibly nice, Catherine. Thank you for your kind and very generous words. Congratulations on the launch of your podcast. I think this is such a great thing for you to be doing, in my humble opinion. I think you have so much to offer, and I think that you have a voice that's needed in this crazy world that we exist in and experience all sorts of things on a daily basis. God knows you've come through for me plenty of times with very wise and sound advice over the years to just help me change my perspective and the way I look at things, and I appreciate that tremendously. So congratulations on the launch of your podcast. It's like such an exciting thing to be doing, and I am truly honored to be your first guest, right?
Yes. Well,
awesome.
Yeah. I'm really thrilled about it because I have thought about it for some time. And, it's easy to put these things off to the side, right? But You've Got Nurse is such a basis for really everything that I do and everything that has evolved from that. And so it's really exciting. And I do agree with you that I think that there are voices that are needed in the health and self-care arena.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before you start telling us about some of your fabulous projects and how those really have come about for you, I also want you to please think about what you have learned over the last few years, in your journey through self-development that you have found the most valuable for you.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting journey, to say the least. And starting with me learning to just really enjoy the journey and the adventure of it all, and the lessons that come along with it, and the incredible people that come along with it, and have fun along the way. I love how you always say, how fun is this? And how fun is that? So I'm like, yes, I have to remember that it's not just, work, goal. It's just, have fun along the way. So it's been an interesting journey for me, especially when it came to making the decision at a relatively young age in my early 20s to leave home, which is Greece, and come to America without knowing anybody, without really having financial support, or, just, again, coming from a very small country, a small town that I was born and raised in Syndos, Thessaloniki, and then coming to this jungle that is, New York, where everybody is just so ambitious and everyone is always hustling, literally 24/7, the city that never sleeps, and just figuring out, pretty much working through what I wanted to do with myself, and, finding myself and who I really am, and, what my voice is, starting with thinking that, I really wanted to pursue acting, which I did early on, and that just went out the window very quickly for me, for a variety of reasons. But my path led me to filmmaking when I met one of our dear friends, the late Olympia Dukakis. And at the time, I had started, as part of finding my own voice and sort of looking to understand what are the things that were important to me and what are the things that I wanted to talk about and write about. Olympia and I crossed paths, and that led to our first collaboration, which was Beneath the Olive Tree, my first featured documentary, which actually took me back to Greece, back to my roots. And it was interesting because there was something about that work that really attracted me, about the story that I just couldn't get out of my mind. And I guess that at the time was my an indicator for me that this is what I need to be doing right now. This feels right. So when it came to building a career for myself, and again, working out what I really wanted to do and what I wanted to invest my time and energy into, it was the first time that something was grabbing me in such a way that I realized, oh, that's what it means. I have this gut feeling. I have this like reaction to it, and I cannot walk away from it. I gotta see what this is about. And then I realized I had been in New York for quite a few years at the time, almost a decade or so. Actually, no, for about 8 years or so. But I realized at some point a while back that the last time I had that was when I was in Greece. I was living in Athens for a while, acting in soap operas at the time, and thinking to myself, New York is calling me, and I don't know how I'm going to make this work. I don't know anybody. I don't have money to like rent a place in Manhattan or do this, but I'll make it work. Like I have to go, this gut feeling. And I said, oh my God, I forgot all about this. So I say this just, I guess, a long story to make a point about how, and this was one of the things that Olympia helped me a lot with, how to just go back to listening to myself and what feels right for me and shut out all the noise, because God knows everyone has an opinion.
Yes.
And a lot of people out there, they think they know what's best, for me, for you, for everybody. And sometimes they come from a really good place and they want to be supportive and helpful. But you really got to work things out for yourself. If there's one thing I've finally, realized at that point when I was in my mid to late 20s, no one else is going to do it for me. I have to, make it work for myself one way or another. So that set me off on the on the journey of going back to my roots to do my first project, Beneath the Olive Tree. And then after that, putting the work out there, seeing the response that it was receiving from various film festivals in America and around the world, and picking up awards. And, you're in the industry as well, Catherine, and you've done a lot of big, very important projects and work. So you understand what it's like to be putting your work out there and for that to be embraced by people who don't know you, people who you don't have a big studio behind you promoting it and marketing it, and none of that. You just go to these festivals and meet complete strangers who want to give you a hug afterwards,
Right.
and look you in the eyes and tell you how much what they just watched meant to them. And that to me was priceless. So I was like, oh, this is the path. This is, the path I'm going to continue carving. And that brought a number of projects after that, a number of lessons, a number of challenges. But in this whole process also, I met you in an acting class of all places.
I know what's so fascinating about that is
Catherine.
I know, and that comes absolutely under the heading of, oh my gosh, how fun is this? I think everyone on the planet would be well served to take an acting class, right?
Or 100, yes,
Or
absolutely.
100. But I honestly think that all of the classes that I have taken have been part of my development to be where I am today, and to understand how important it is to be putting our voices out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. It's interesting because also, my God, I was thinking, I think yesterday at some point, I was thinking of our chat for today. And what are the things I said? Oh, maybe I should start making some notes. Maybe I should email Catherine and be like, oh, you have any questions you want to share with me in advance so I can prepare? And I said, no, we're just going to go with the flow. And we have a really nice conversation among friends who, respect one another. And we'll just, we'll put it out there and see what happens next. But I was thinking to myself, we were like two completely different people when we first met, almost 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 2007, 2008, if I remember correctly. So 15 going on 16 years. And, the things that you were dealing with in your life at the time and the things that I was going through, and look at us all these years later, just having built that really wonderful friendship. But you're also someone that I look up to because what you're doing with You've Got Nurse and the Sunshine Quotient and this work that you've been doing when it comes to supporting people in the journey of, wellness and self-care and understanding how energy works and understanding the power that we all have to manifest and see good things come through, invite them into our lives, and then put them out there for the rest of the world. That has been incredibly important to me. So I'll just say it once again that I love that you're doing this podcast and, putting your work more out there because you've helped a lot of people. You've certainly helped me. And I think this is going to be an interesting and fun thing for people to listen to and hopefully be involved with.
Well, yeah, the word delighted keeps coming back to me, right? And so, and on an energetic level, that's a fabulous word to be using, right?
Yeah.
And when we think about energy and how, the universal laws and energy principles are in play constantly, it's important to know that that's the game we're playing in.
Yeah.
And learn to use that to our best advantage. And what the other thing that I think is so important for people to realize is that the research shows that the lifespan of an emotion is 90 seconds or less.
Oh, wow.
Right. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it's like, so we just keep perpetuating this loop sometimes. And we have, well, we all do. I don't think anybody is exempt. However, it does get easier knowing that and knowing a little bit. I think when people understand the basics of how they operate, it's like, it's like, finally getting the directions out and reading the owner's manual, right?
Yeah. But Catherine, this is what I absolutely appreciate about your coaching is that you really simplify things because at this time and age, anyone could go on YouTube or order a book, online and read and hear someone talking about XYZ. But the work that I've done with you, the work that we've done together as part of, personal coaching and life coaching helped me take things to the next level because you just put everything, like you helped me look at things from a very different perspective. And sort of what I was saying earlier about shutting the noise out and all about, well, Stavroula, what do you really want, right? What are you hoping to accomplish? Well, even just before, full disclosure with the audience who's going to be listening or watching this, even right before we pressed record for this chat here, I just brought up something with you, like a situation that I'm dealing with right now. And right away, you just caught it. You were like, well, what if you just said that this is going to happen instead of that? And feeling myself literally before you press record, feel like, oh, yes, of course. This makes it so much easier, right? And I feel like I've spent, and obviously a lot of this has to do with my conditioning and the environment, but the culture that I was born and raised in. And I've spent many years of my life being angry or mad at that without understanding that, well, this was what people knew how to do, and this is how people knew how to treat, a child or whatever in that society, in that household, in that environment. And this is what it is now. And I have control of this. And there's nothing with, even if I completely disagree with actually understanding that and letting go of that part, because it's just weight, like dead weight that I carry in my mind, in my soul, on my body that no longer serves me. And one of the things that has been very important for me in our coaching sessions is that just let go of the things, like shed away the things that just no longer serve you, like dead skin on your body. Is like, why would you just keep it, right? Or something dirty on you, you would just throw it away. So understanding much better how energy works. And using that even before I get on a Zoom meeting, a business meeting, right? A business call, and seeing the difference that it makes and how people literally on the other end of the world on a Zoom call talking about a project or whatever respond to that and actually taking a moment. And I would love it. Can you share a little bit about the Sunshine Quotient at this point? Because I think you can explain it much better than I will. But people actually saying, "Oh my God, you're glowing." And I'm like, "Oh, it's my natural glow." I take a moment to brag. I'm not going to lie. But I know the trick. I know the secret. So please, if you wanted to share that, I think people would enjoy hearing about it.
Well, it's so fun, right? Because
Mhm.
it, it, it came to me really as a download. And people were saying to me, "Oh my gosh, you're just so bright all the time. What are you doing?" And I say, "Well, I have this high sunshine quotient,"
Mhm.
but I had never put those two words together. And so I
Yeah.
did a little research, and it is a term that refers to lighting gradients in photography and radiology. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this makes perfect sense because we're light beings. We're
Yes.
radiating light and information
Mhm.
constantly, and we're receiving that." And so I started working with it with myself to help develop a more mindfulness way of being
Mhm.
and using the breath and with that age old concept of visualization, right? And
Mhm.
visualizing, breathing in the light and feeling that you're just filling up with this beautiful sunshine
I
energy.
love that. I
I
love
know.
that.
Yeah. And your heart's actually getting bigger. You're glowing from the inside out. And when you're glowing from the inside out, it's a little difficult to be cranky, right? So
It's impossible.
I
It's
know.
impossible. Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
contagious. And the
Yeah.
beauty of it, why I get so excited about it is there's also a physiological reason as to why it operates the way it does, because we're actually augmenting part of what we are as being a light being. And when you take in that deep breath in through the nose, you're stimulating your vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is connected to almost every organ in your body. So it's important to understand and know about that. And also, when you stimulate that vagus nerve by that taking in the deep breath, you're also inviting the calming side of your nervous system to engage. It lowers your heart rate, lowers your blood pressure. You just automatically feel calmer. It gives you the opportunity to, take that pause and respond versus maybe reacting. And it's a beautiful start of developing a more mindfulness way of being, a more
Mhm.
mindful experience. Because
Yeah.
what's fabulous is the power that we have is in the present moment.
Mhm.
And when we are more connected with ourselves, we develop our intuition. What is it that lights us up? What is it that we want to do? What we want to accomplish? What gifts do I really want to cultivate in myself that would be useful and a contribution, right?
Mhm.
Because when we think about some of the folks that we may know or see, and I like to describe it, are you a sunbeam or are you a storm cloud? And
I
it's
never heard you describe it like this before. I like it. I
but
like it.
it's so much more fun being a sunbeam, right? And so
I
and
agree.
and
Yeah.
those are the opportunities and the people that we want to be and that we want to attract
Mhm.
into our lives. And it is interesting in that the law of attraction is always in play. It's a sub law of the law of vibration, and we are vibrational beings. And so, asking ourselves what we're broadcasting
Yeah.
makes a big difference when we have that awareness, right? Because being
Yeah.
more mindful allows us to become more self-aware.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that, Catherine. In my experience, because we've been talking about, the journey and whether it's personal or professional relationships. One of the, there's been times where I decided to walk away from a project or from an opportunity because I just could not imagine myself for the next few years having to deal with that one person or that group of people who were completely. And I've also I've experienced the opposite, where actually I got to, especially when I got to the point where I said, I no longer, I'm done with independent filmmaking. I want to start making things with, partnering with studios, networks, a big production company, and take things to the next level in my life and my career. There's been times where, you get so nervous and you can be so excited at the same time about pitching an idea, a story to like a major network that you've always dreamt of working with and stuff. And that was something that really helped me. Part of the coaching that we did that really helped me to, again, let go of the expectations. Yes, I'm not compromising my dreams and my goals, but also really wanting to build a connection and a relationship with the person that I'm working with. See what they're about, allow them to see what I'm about without feeling, oh, are they going to like me? Are they going to think I'm good enough? None of that. And then realizing at times where people were like, you know what, this is not the right project for us at this time, but we love you. Like, we think you're amazing. What else are you working on? We might find something else because we want to work with you. And people actually saying, we love your energy. We know that where this idea came from, there's going to be another one and another one and another one, but they're investing in you, right? You as the person, you as the creative force, you as the energy. And in the past, I've had people say something similar to me, and I've always chosen, whether because I didn't know any better or because of, conditioning and, beliefs and whatnot, to say that, oh, they're just being nice. They just, that door just closed and they were just wanting to be cool about it. And, now thinking of the opposite, where actually, no, if that's what they're saying, I take their word for it. I value what they're saying, and let me knock on their door again a month from now and present something else. And this is actually changing that perspective and looking at things with, that different perspective also helped me open doors on one hand, but also keep them open instead of me getting into my head and thinking, oh, XYZ, and then without realizing, closing the door and hesitating to ever reach out to that person again, because I've already decided that they're going to reject or pass on the next project and the next idea. So that has been something that has really helped me advance to the next level when it comes to, my personal and my professional relationships. And it's something that I very much appreciate, that, you were able to sort of shed the light and be like, but what if that wasn't the case? And what if they really meant, what they said? So that's been incredibly helpful.
And the beauty of what you're relating here is the power of being open, understanding that the energy is always in motion, things are always changing.
Yeah.
And new information comes to us constantly. And the listening part of it, when we go into something already decided, well, they're probably not going to like this, or, and that just shuts us down, and we don't actually hear what they're saying.
What they're really saying to us. Yeah.
Right.
I know.
So
it makes a huge difference. But Catherine, the other thing that I was going to say, again, yesterday I spent, time thinking about our chat today. The fact that you've had all these years of experience working as a nurse in the ER. I mean, it's no accident that the podcast and the series is named, You've Got Nurse, because you're a different kind of nurse. You're not one who just wants to administer pills and injections and that's it, your job is done. You came, from your background as a medical professional to sort of realize how much, and it wasn't an easy journey for you either. And I know you're doing this podcast and you're supposed to be focusing on your guests, but I think it's just equally important for people, for the audience to learn more and hear your story as well, because things happened to you or for you, and then you decided, oh, I got to take control, starting with my attitude and the way I look at this. So the fact that you are now teaching this stuff and passing it on is priceless, because you really spend years and years of your precious life learning and unlearning, behaviors and beliefs that no longer serve you. And that's why I think you're such a great person also to pass this along to other people. You've certainly done that with me, and it's been working great.
Well, thank you so much, because yes, I have learned much of what I teach from experience.
Yeah.
And people look at me and they seem to think that, I grew up on the Upper East Side and never had anything untoward happen to me. I'm like, whoa, that's not really the
That
case.
would be nice.
And, we'll get into bits and pieces of that as we go along with this. But what's fascinating too is that I do believe that there's a gift in everything. And when we can take what we have learned and be able to actually use that information to make the necessary changes, to learn what it is that we need to learn to go to the next level, to start to put all of these pieces together, it makes a beautiful difference for us. And so, yeah, we're getting close to the end of our time today, but I want you to please share just one thing or one thought that you want to offer, something that they may want to consider too, something that just a little gem that you have found that you use for yourself.
Okay. Yes, very interesting. So the first thing that comes to mind is the word responsibility.
Mhm.
For some people, accountability, I guess. I don't know. But for me, responsibility comes to mind because oftentimes in my, again, everyday personal relationships, but also in my work relationships, I see a lot of, uh, I hear it a lot and I see it a lot on, in the world today, people not taking responsibility for their actions, their thoughts. We live in a world where, unfortunately, there's plenty of people who don't have a choice. I'm talking about war zone, countries, and again, it's madness. But a lot of us are in a very fortunate position, and we don't have to blame anybody for where we are. It's all a matter of choices and the decisions that we make. And for me, taking responsibility for my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions that follow those thoughts and feelings, and how everything is connected, has been a huge game changer. And I hope this helps people maybe, but there were times where it was tough for me to I had to take a really hard look at myself, where I am in my life at that given moment, realize how I got there, not just the actions, but the thoughts and feelings that led to those actions, right? And to really go back and do some, take a deep dive and say, oh, that's what you did. And that's why this is happening right now. And, this idea that karma is just consequences pretty much. And one way or another, it's going to catch up with you. And that, me just taking inventory and taking full responsibility, this has nothing to do with how my mom raised me or that I was here. Everything contributes. But at some point, as an adult, once you hit 18, it's like you better start taking some real responsibility for yourself. So that has been like a really a huge game changer for me, and I hope that helps people who are going to be listening to this.
You just described the ultimate mind diet.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Well, good to know.
I know. I've actually started the hashtag of ultimate mind diet. If you Google mind diet,
Yes. Yes.
you get a lot of nutritional information, which is all well and good because that's really important.
Of
But
course.
as you just pointed out, it's the thoughts and the emotions that influence the actions, and it's choosing what thoughts we're actually going to entertain.
Yeah.
And it's so fun being in the entertainment industry because we are each of us our own showrunner.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, Catherine. Yes. I run the show of Stavroula Toska. Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just great. And again, I'm not saying that, but I'm perfect in any way or whatever, but just learning also how to catch myself like very quickly and say, you're digging that hole and you're about to jump right in. Nobody else that did it for you. You're doing it. It's just, again, and that's why I think that I'm in a position right now when I can say that, my God, how blessed I am with the people who surround me on a daily basis, those friendships and partnerships and relationships, but also the people that I work with are on a whole other level than they were even just 1 year ago. and the year before and the year before. And I'm like, oh, look at that, little by little, step by step, you see the difference. And, but also I make sure that I take responsibility for that as well, right? And maybe give myself a little pat on the back, no one else is going to do it for you. So just own it all, take responsibility of it all, and run the show that is your life. Yeah, I love that, Catherine.
You're welcome to use it.
Yes, I will. Thank you. I wonder if you can look into can you coin the term, be the showrunner of your life or something? I don't know. Maybe look into that, Catherine. It's very nice.
Well, how fun is this? And thank you so much for being with me here today.
Thank you for having me. And, just in case people want to check out some of the work that I've been doing the last 10 to 12 years, ever since I started writing, producing, and directing, they can check out thetoscamatrix.com. And I hope they enjoy the conversation. And I'm always happy to speak with you, Catherine, and just see your shiny face.
Yeah. Well, and look how glowing you are today, too. Yeah, absolutely. I'll put your information in the notes.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And you as well. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day, every day.
Oh, absolutely. Every day. Thank you so much for joining in today on the You've Got Nurse Series podcast. I appreciate your time, as our time is our most precious commodity. We never get the time back. Using our time intentionally and with purpose makes a difference. Kindly like and share if you find this content helpful. I invite you to explore a bit more of the work, which you can find on my websites of you'vegotnurse.org and theartofselfcraftsmanship.org. It will be my pleasure to hear from you with any questions you may have. Take good care of you and your ultimate mind diet in the meantime.